Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and today is a special video because today I will be talking and celebrating the channel's 4-year anniversary. And also recently we've reached over 1,000 subscribers, so that's another milestone in the history of the channel, and I want to go also through the history of the channel. And we're starting, of course, in 2014 when it all happened. July 14th, 2014. It was the year that I was basically personally not doing too much with my life. I had a small job. I was driving around patients in a hospital from, for example, their rooms to the radiology department and back again because they had to get some scan or something. And I was okay, but not necessarily in a great place personally. I didn't have like a real job that I wanted. I was technically, I guess, still in university, but hey, I wasn't really doing all that much. And then I thought, after seeing a lot of other people making YouTube videos, I thought, yeah, I can do that too. I think I will actually enjoy it. And if I look back at it now, it was a pretty bad video in many ways, but especially technically. Technically, it was a bad video because I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know that I could use an Xbox controller to actually pan the camera shots. I didn't really have any decent equipment back then to record properly. And all of that has changed, I would say. But still, regardless, it was a good time. And it was received very well. The first video now has like 1,300 views. But back then it had relatively soon like 800 hits or something. And I thought, oh well, this might actually be a market that people are apparently interested in. So I kept making more and more videos. And I had an awesome time in 2014. I was able to reach 100 subs after a month, which, you know, depending on how you look at it, but from my perspective, that was actually pretty good. So, and I know quite a few of you are actually still around. So thanks for that, guys. And that's truly appreciated. I also tried, apart from the Skyrim mods, which really gained a lot of popularity and also gained me a lot of subs back then, I also tried to branch out to other games. For example, Spec Ops The Line. Spec Ops The Line was a sort of third-person, dark American army kind of shooter, which led you in the chase of this sort of really terrible, horrible organization. You had to make all kinds of ethical dilemmas, and all in all, it was an absolutely great game. And I thought, wow, well, let's play if this game might be amazing, right? And no one watched it. This is sort of a recurring theme. We'll get to this later. The same happened with The Witcher. The Witcher 1, back then, not even a new game anymore, I think, but new for me. I played it, but then, you know, people were just not really interested in it whatsoever. And if I look back at the videos now, I understand why, because they're basically boring to watch, right? You see the audience retention, like people drop off after a minute. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this crap. I completely understand. It was also in 2014 that I started streaming on Twitch, and I had like a bunch of awesome times actually on Twitch. Twitch is so fun to use, right? Unfortunately, right now, I just basically lack the up speed. Like, I don't have enough upload speed to be on Twitch. I have like 2.5 megabytes per second. It's not enough, right? You need around 10 or something to stream somewhat decently. And yeah, so that's not gonna happen. Otherwise, I would probably reactivate my Twitch account and just stream a little bit and maybe play with you guys together as well. Back in the day, I played a lot of Skyrim, of course, but also Fallout and also random other games that I really didn't know, all kinds of blind playthroughs. I can very vividly remember things like what was that game again? Let me check. Still have it. It was this space horror game. Where is it? Something with Dead? Dead Space. Dead Space. I mean, jeez, that was a scary game, man. Bloody hell. but it was so fun to play, and the reactions on Twitch was pretty hilarious. So yeah, I had a great time on Twitch. Maybe if I move, which is not gonna happen anytime soon, or if I get faster internet, which might happen, but I'm not sure. Maybe then, you know, things will change. But after that, I took a break of a few months, and unfortunately, this is also sort of a recurring theme. Over the past years, I have not been consistent. There have been periods of complete blackout, and yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. I had my personal reasons, which were mainly the fact that YouTube and making videos is just a lot of work, and at some point you don't really feel like doing it anymore. And it was a hobby, and it still is a hobby, of course, but I did approach it in a little bit of different mindset than I do now, and I'll come back to that later. So then on to the year 2015. In 2015 we made more Skyrim mods, and the Skyrim mods got of like better and better quality. They got more and more views, and some Skyrim mods went even sort of like mini viral, such as the Growing Up in Skyrim video. It is probably even like maybe my worst, one of my worst videos. The main reason is that I just didn't install the mod correctly. And it shows, right? If you watch this video, you see like a super tiny version of a person. It's just like a shrunken down version. But in reality, I just didn't I didn't install the mod correctly. The only thing I did was I forgot a dependency, or I forgot another mod that I had to install. So what happened is that this is by far my most popular video, but it's also by far one of the worst, which is kind of ironic. And some people also said it in comments like, this is really bad. I mean, yeah, I know guys, but hey, once you're not gonna take a video down, right? We also tried two other things, because always making Skyrim mod videos, guys, can also get a little bit tedious at points in time, right? So what I also tried were two other things. And the first was a Oblivion playthrough. Once again a playthrough, once again a let's play, and once again it didn't really work out. The usual trend here is that the first episode people are actually watching and they're interested in it, and you get quite a bit of views. And then afterwards people just don't really care, and you get like 50 views. Another thing that we tried, which was actually a pretty decent success, was mod support or modding for the game Cities Skylines. Now, Cities Skylines and Skyrim have absolutely nothing in common. They're two completely different games. With Skyrim, well, you will know Skyrim, but in case you don't know Cities Skylines, it's like Sim City, right? It's a city simulator, and you have to build stuff and other things. But apparently there were some mods for it as well on the Steam Workshop. And I discussed a few of those, and it actually was very well received, which is, I think, quite interesting. But then also near the end of 2015, on a personal level, I'm actually doing much better, because I went on a holiday to France, to some sort of valley. There was basically no one around apart from 50 people who went there on holiday. We all went to tents, and I had a lot of conversations about basically personal life, work, what I would be doing, and at that time I had no job. So this was the summer of 2015, and I was like, yeah, what am I going to do with my life, right? I am what was I? I am 30 years old. I have sort of a degree in philosophy, but not like a master's degree. I had a bachelor's degree, so that wasn't great for the, let's say, prospects of finding a job. Not many people, in case you're wondering, are looking for a bachelor philosopher. So what happened is that I had kind of a tough time finding a job. And then later on in October 2016, I actually applied for an IT traineeship. This is also sort of around the time that my channel went completely dead, because I got accepted. And basically the next 2 years, until the January of this year, I was at a financial company, the company I'm currently still working at. And I have basically, well, sort of got my life back on the rails, back on track. I got a job, and basically everything is sort of settled now. So this also explains largely 2017. In 2017 I only made some mod videos for like 2 months and then figured out, yeah, I can't do this, right? I don't have the time, guys. I just don't have the time to put up with like a completely new job, which is like a completely new job for me because I work in IT, but I studied philosophy, so everything in IT is new for me, right? I don't know much about, well, I didn't know much about IT. So every time I get home from my work, even though I really enjoyed it, I was super tired because I had to learn so many things. And this is getting less and less and less. I know more, which helps me doing my job as well. But also the days are less draining. I'm getting more used to absorbing all this kind of knowledge, and it is basically completely fine. So now I have a lot more time. In 2017 though, I basically only played for, I basically only made videos for around 2 months. And ironically, 2017 closes with my one and only Fallout 4 mod review, which was about the Morita battle rifle. And if I look back at that video, I actually think it's quite a fun video. It's still somewhat cringy, but that is my general feeling. I guess that also happens when you look at yourself, especially like a few years ago. You're like, oof, you know. But still, I think it was, for that time, a pretty fun video, and I might actually make a few more Fallout videos. I mean, I own the game after all, and modding Fallout is relatively easy as well. But then, 2018. And 2018 in March, I think I rebooted the channel. And for me, that was really a point in time where I was all like set up. I made a video about it back then as well, what the sort of goals and future plans were. And I think, looking back now, it's now 4 months later or so, we stuck to that plan relatively well. I created content on a regular basis, sometimes even on a daily basis, and since then a lot of new videos have been released. They're obviously not as successful as they used to be, because if you don't make any videos for 1.5 years, yeah, then people don't really stick around, which I totally get, right? So we're basically starting from scratch. That's how these things work, I suppose, but that is completely fine as well. So I've been trying out quite a few different things. For example, Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is a card game. Yeah, it's just a tactical card game. Very much like, for example, Monster Slayers, if you should be familiar with that. And what is so great about it is the tactical thing behind it. As you might know, I also enjoyed and streamed basically a lot of online poker. And card games in general are just fun for me to play. However, no one watched it, right? The most watched episode has 10 views, so that wasn't a big success. We started with Kingdom Come Deliverance mods. And Kingdom Come Deliverance is, first of all, an absolutely great game. I still am completely convinced of the fact that Kingdom Come Deliverance could easily be the next Skyrim if they implement modding support correctly. And I am also convinced that they will be, maybe to some lesser extent, but hey. And the mod reviews on Kingdom Come Deliverance are doing relatively okay, so I'm definitely gonna keep going with them. I also made, up until now, I think 3 mods videos about Final Fantasy 15. First of all, it's a game I really enjoyed, and also the modding community around it is pretty cool. So modding Final Fantasy 15 is pretty decent, and I'm definitely gonna continue doing that as well. There are also some of the few videos that I really spent a lot of time editing. Especially the first one, I spent like, I think, around 2 days editing all of that because of all the moving images and all the moving parts around, the different types of titles. They're everywhere, they're all over the place. I think it has become a really nice, sort of nicely crafted, edited video, and I was also happy to see that it was really well received, with I think currently around 5,000 views or something. So that's great. We did the whole Blast Online thing as well. And Blast Online, guys, I mean, to me it was just hilarious basically to make videos about it, research it, read all the Reddit posts. You should see the Reddit about Blast Online. I mean, these developers are being slaughtered, and rightly so, right? They're completely butchered the game. I mean, now we're much later, but back then it looked somewhat promising, right? It could be somewhat okay, but it turned out to be a total cash grab, and yeah, it's basically unbelievable that they're sort of getting away with it, but the amount of players have been on a steady decline since launch. The game is practically dead already, and I don't think it will ever revive. It will probably just die like it did in the other regions. So, but still, the adventure, playing the game and figuring out like how bad is it, making videos about it, I had a lot of fun doing that, and they were pretty well received as well. Obviously, the more controversial your topic gets, the more nasty replies and the more dislikes you get. Now, you know, I don't really mind, but we'll get to that as well. Then there was the Vermintide 2 modding, and Vermintide 2 is a completely different game, I would say, from Skyrim actually. It's basically just first person hack and slash. But there is more tactics to it than meets the eye. I think that's fair to say. And the mods for it, and especially some of the mods from people like SketchyPL, they are really inventive and really allow you to play the game on a completely different way. So for me, that is a good opportunity to make videos, because I would like to cover mods that are, well, not necessarily retextures. For me, I'm more interested in the functionality. I'm also, of course, talking about the mods, unlike Hodleton is usually. So the visual aspect of a mod review is, of course, very important, but it's not enough. I also want to do the voiceover, so then it helps if people are creating interesting mods or mods that alter the game in some way or form. And those are also my favorite mods to play and to review. Once again, I tried to basically expand my portfolio a little bit when it comes to YouTube content. And this time I tried to, well, review basically 2 games. Far Lone Sails was one of the better indie games I've played this year. And the other one was Wolfenstein, The New Order. Wolfenstein The New Order was just a great game, but no one watched the review. And the Far Lone Sails game has the same issue, which sort of makes sense because people are coming to my channel, I suppose, to see mod reviews and maybe news about modding or things about Kingdom Come Deliverance. So if you come up then with a completely different game, such as Far Lone Sails or such as Wolfenstein A New Order, they're not that interested. So yeah, that is kind of a thing. I'm also thinking about, well, what am I going to do in the future? But before we talk about the future, let's talk about a little bit about the things that I've learned so far. And some of these things should be clear by now, but the first thing, Let's Plays don't really work for me. I'm not interesting enough when I play a video. I'm too silent. I'm too concentrated on the actual game. So those things, it's very unlikely I'll make them again. Maybe what I can do is a first impressions. Because the first video is always received very well, but then consecutive videos are not. So maybe first impressions of a game, it's also like a very realistic goal to set out, because I don't have time to play the entire game usually. I just don't have time if I also need to work and create videos for you guys. So that's 1. 2. Criticizing things created like a small outrage. The main issue here, or the main examples here, are the Blast Online video, which, you know, it was nice to do, but and the other one is, the most specific one, is the critique I had on the Vermintide 2 developers. That video is, I think, the only video on my channel out of like almost 300 videos or so that has more dislikes than likes. And looking back at it, I sort of get it, but I also feel that I could make a video like this, which I am now doing about my channel. I think I can also make a video like this about stuff that I actually care about, such as the consumer part of gaming. and in this case, my opinion that the developers of Vermintide 2 just have clearly other priorities than supporting the PC game, and I would like to make a video about it without upsetting the whole world, but maybe those two are not compatible. 4. This is another obvious one. YouTube channel breaks are obviously horrible. I took like 3 breaks in 4 years, and one of those breaks took me 1.5 years. So I completely understand, right? There's not that many people going to watch this. I also realized that like this video, there's not that many people going to watch this video. But it's mainly for you guys who do care about the channel and who do find it interesting to hear about, well, where we're going to, right? 5. Creating content is very tough and it takes a lot of time. I've said this before also in other videos, but the amount of time and energy that I need to spend to just put out, let's say, a 2-minute video is at least 2-3 hours, at the very least. The video over here, this is gonna take much longer, right? And then if you get, for example, let's say 20 views on it, or 100, then you're like, yeah, you know, is this worth it? And that is a feeling that I need to sort of deal with, because I'm really enjoying the process, but I'm also results oriented, which brings me to point 6, which is the balance between a sellout and a genuine content is somewhat delicate. But what I mean by this is that I'm not making videos for the sake of making videos, right? If I would do that, I might as well put them on my hard drive and then every now and then look at it. No guys, I'm also making videos because I want you to enjoy the content. I'm someone who likes to be creative in many ways, like even at my job, find creative solutions for issues. But music-wise, I like to write music and then perform so other people might enjoy that music too. And with the YouTube, I like to edit videos and make content, but with the goal that you enjoy content, and not only you, but as many people as possible, right? Or at least people that I would like, an amount that I would like. For example, 1,000 people. That would be sort of my goal for now. I want my videos to be watched 1,000 times. I think that's realistic to some extent, but we're not there yet. Because otherwise, you know, what's the point? So if I see a video that I spent 4 hours on and it gets 33 views, it makes me sort of sad. Just so you know, right? Not for a very long time, and I will create a next one. And I know that this will change over time. But this is still important, and I can't act like it's not. And this is also one of the reasons that sometimes I get a little bit fed up with creating content. And the last thing I learned is that I want to personalize the channel more. You can already see the switch in 2018, I think. Before that, I hardly did like these kind of vloggy type of videos, and I think I want to, because this is just gonna be relatively easy to do, and it's also nice. I feel I'm pretty comfortable these days just talking to my webcam. I've been talking to my webcam for days now, so that's all completely fine. And I'm probably gonna do this a little bit more with upcoming content, which leads us to the final topic of today, which is the future. So I got 4 things that I wrote down about the future, and the first thing, they're not necessarily in a order of importance, but the first thing is going to be branding. So branding is going to be a little bit more important, I feel, because right now the channel lacks a little bit of identity, and I'm perfectly aware of it, because well, I don't lack identity, but I am not entirely sure what I want to do with this channel. The main issue with YouTube is that if you don't find a specific niche, like I did at the start, like only Skyrim mods, then it's going to be really hard to find the right audience, or well, an audience at all. So and it makes perfect sense, because people who are interested in modding Skyrim will most likely not be interested in a review of Wolfenstein: A New Order. I get that, right? So I need to figure out a way to make the channel with content that I enjoy, but also make the channel interesting for a specific niche, for a specific type of YouTube viewer or YouTube sub. And that is less easy than it seems. What it looks like right now is that I will just, let's say, do maybe first impressions on games, generic games, could be indie games, could be other games, because first impressions are just fun and people aren't really looking for other things necessarily than that. They just want first impressions, so I guess that's fine. And the other thing is, of course, the modding. I will probably have a few games at a time that I focus on. That I focus on the modding community or the modding aspect of it, such as now Vermintide 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Final Fantasy 15 and Skyrim. Like a few games so I can mix it up a little bit in terms of modding. But I feel the right way to go for this channel is modding news and mod reviews, which could be the tagline as well. 2 is very much related to 1, which is I have to find the niche. So that is basically what I just talked about. 3 is be more consistent without hopefully too many breaks. Since I restarted the channel in March, I think, of this year, I have been relatively consistent. You have been able to watch quite a bit of content, and I think the content was also of decent quality, unlike maybe some content I put out in years before just for the sake of making content. I am actually trying to add value to the content that I deliver to you guys, even though it could only be a 1-minute video. Let me know what you think, but also let me know what you would like to see. And then the last option for the future is also that I have to be realistic about my time. Like I said, I have a full-time job, I have a girlfriend, I have other things that I need to attend to. There's also like a few less things that I need to attend to because I'm also making choices on a more personal level. As in choices where I spend my time on. And a significant portion of my time is now spent on YouTube because I just enjoy this currently the most. This will probably continue for quite a bit, and that is at least the idea. Also see the previous point. But still I have to be realistic about my time, which means that I can't go around, let's say, reviewing entire games. I don't have the time to play a game for like 15-20 hours and then spend another 8 hours on a review, which then no one watches. Guys, this is considerably longer than I anticipated, but apparently I had more to talk about than I initially thought. So if you're still around, congratulations, you made it towards the end of my video and my little rant about the channel. I do really greatly appreciate all of you sticking around, but mainly all of you sticking around on the channel. I think the community, small as it may be, is still very nice. I'm talking to you guys also on Steam and on other platforms and playing some games these days with some of you guys together. I have recently gone pretty all in on The Division. Really great game, by the way, guys. I mean, if you want to try that out, absolutely great game. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with, of course, another video, most likely about a Skyrim mod. Bye bye.